Hi everybody, welcome to this video here on G4G. Every time I'm out, they pull me back in. So, as you can see by the title of the video, this is Disney's final words on the Save the MAA petition that started going around about a month ago. Today's background soundtrack is brought to you by We Lost the Sea Departure Songs. So, a lot of people on YouTube do reaction videos. They do reactions to reactions. This is one of the first times that I'm going to be doing something like this. But a lot of you guys are here for Marvel Avengers Alliance stuff. So it's still quite topical. So first we're going to go through Disney's quote-unquote response to the petition, which reached 32,500 supporters. From my perspective, it feels like it sort of flatlined at a certain point. Like it was really rolling downhill very fast, very snowballish, and getting tons of signatures in a very fast time period. It was like, wow, this is really going good. But I feel like the 20 to 32K period kind of trickled in a little bit as compared to the 0 to 20K. But, you know, in a way that makes sense. It probably reached all the people that it could reach very quickly and then, you know, just petered out because it kind of hit what it could hit, you know? Like spreading butter on a piece of toast. Eventually, your butter's going to run out and maybe not, like, quite reach the edges until you add more. So, Disney thanked us for our passion and commitment to the game, and thanked us for playing. It is indeed most unfortunate they are not interested in feeding our passion and keeping the game going. A game that was one of the most popular games to ever be a Facebook app. So, some comments have begun to trickle in, and I read them a little while ago, and I've definitely got some thoughts on these lined up. I can't believe it. Is that the only thing they said? They have no respect for us. I largely agree with this one. This is gonna come back around in these comments a little later. This is incredibly terse and very tight-lipped from them, and I believe it's god awful. It's just god awful, quick, and oh, sorry, bye. I mean, I'm not happy with this response at all. I think it's awful. The no respect for us. I think that's kind of implied. It's kind of implied by how not wordy their response is. That was their plan, to kill the most popular game, to bring players to other of their stupid games. That's why they brought Played On. They planned this for sure for a long time. That one's too broken English for me to, like, really go with. I think maybe what he's trying to say is that Disney bought out Played On to get them over to other Disney games and then kill the bridge leading in. I don't know about that one. Might be a little too heavy on that one. Here, this guy, everything dies. Marvel isn't supposed to die, just ask the characters. It's not really that topical, but he's got a point. That's rather zen look on this. Sad thing is, only 32K people signed the petition. That's a small drop in the bucket of folks who played. I knew the last year there really seemed to be less folks playing. It's sad to see the game go, but you are dealing with Disney, and they don't care about 32K folks. They're big enough to take that hit financially. Even if only 5K people shelled out $10 a month, that's still 50K a month. And with all the bugs and glitches, you know, they didn't have a lot of highly trained people doing the programming, so they were well in the green. That response is a little bit new from when I first read this. Yes, the population has been proven to have declined from the very first PvP. And this is determined by looking at your rank and rating at the end of a season, and it is possible to extrapolate out the amount of people playing. Because once you know where your percentage is and where you rank, it is easy to figure out how many people played that PvP season. PKB, love him or hate him, on the Marvel Avengers Alliance wiki, has been figuring that out ever since Season 1. And he has proven that there has been a steady decline of at least PvP players since the beginning of the game, with occasional bursts. So if you could think of a rock falling down a rather sheer side of a mountain, but occasionally like hitting an outcropping and bumping back up, and then gravity just takes over and keeps falling back down again. That's kind of what the game has had. There have been bumps in it where it is picked back up, and even in my own PvP standings, I could see that in the last 10 that we did. But yeah, unfortunately, we have bled out players all along the way, and there was nothing that really ever brought people back in a drove, like say an expansion pack to World of Warcraft. Like things peter out at the end of an expansion, then a new one drops and everybody like kicks back over. The game probably could have dealt with some advertising to maybe kick it back up, like a Marvel movie comes out and just do like really a high tie-in, like have the commercial for the movie and be like, to see more, download the Marvel Avengers Alliance app today, available on PCs, or, something like that. So, gutted. That game was my favorite thing in the world for over 4 years. From what I've read, they wanted to move the developers to new projects because, there are very few game developers out there. It comes down to money. They weren't making as much as they wanted, so they pulled it. They give not a single fuck about the loyal customers and gamers. This is a little bit harshly worded, but absolutely true. Disney is in charge of some of the most iconic and popular franchises to date and through history. Marvel, Disney, and now the Star Wars universe. And let's not forget, people go mad about Disney stuff, period. So forget about the communities of Star Wars fans and the Marvel fans. There are Disney fans. There are Disney-ophiles. There's Disney fanatics. My senior year of college, towards the end of my senior year of college, I knew I was going to be taking an extra semester, so it was my senior and a half year. I started dating this girl, Kim. Tim and Kim. I know, it was kind of awful. Her family and her, they were Disney-ophiles. They were Disney fanatics. They would visit Disney once a year, pretty much on the average. And this is back when things came as VCR tapes. So if you got Disney movies, they came in those gigantic plastic containers that made it so you needed special VCR drawers and cabinets and everything to hold Disney movies. Like a normal VCR had that small plastic sleeve around it that didn't really add that much thickness to the VCR tape. But Disney ones came in those god-awful, huge-ass plastic clamshell boxes. And if you wanted to store them, you needed specific Disney tape things. And they had tons of them. And whenever a Disney movie came out, they went and saw it. Even if it was a re-release, like, say, Cinderella or Snow White. I fucking saw Kazam at a drive-in with her. Don't let the drive-in misrepresent my age. It was just one of those rarities. But, they were fucking crazy for Disney. So, Disney has an incredible fan base in and of themselves. Disney should know that when it comes to Marvel, when it comes to Star Wars, they probably have some of the most fanatical fans on the planet. And to not understand what they are doing to a community by killing these games like that, that does show a complete lack of respect and non-understanding, or simply going for the money. And that's really sad, because obviously everything eventually winds up boiling down to be for the money and not for the love of it, which is a very sad thing in modern history. But they really should have realized how passionate a Marvel community would be, or a Star Wars community would be. And to kill a game like this really does show that they just don't get it. Or they get it, but they don't fucking care. And if they put themselves in the shoes of what happened if this happened to our direct Disney fans and we did something to them, But I guess, no, I guess they did. Disney Infinity. I mean, they didn't care about that either, so perhaps some of my point falls down there. But yeah, this guy's a little heavy-handed in the approach, but I think he's spot on. I, for one, will not be participating in any more Facebook games. I love this one. I'm going to talk about this one for a while. And I urge all of you to do the same. We have no guarantee that our time will be well spent on these games. What is to say some other company could just throw their hands up and close their game as well and leave us hanging? I think I'll just stick to my PlayStation. Dude, you need to, like, stick to your cartridge-based games. I call this guy Apocalypse Guy. This guy's attitude is the apocalypse is coming. And burn it all down to the ground. Raze everything. Pillage and plunder. This tact, this Unabomber, I'm going to go live in the woods thinking, is way over the top, and this guy is significantly doomed if that's what he believes in. I don't think he realizes just how much gaming has changed, that this is not a Facebook issue. This is not a free-to-play issue. This is an every game issue nowadays. So many games have an online component, either as a form of DRM, copy protection, or what. But starting with like StarCraft 2 being always on, and then Diablo 3 being always on, and even non-free-to-play games only being available online, like Destiny and everything, you can't get away from this. This isn't a Facebook game issue or a tiny game issue. Any game is subject to this, as long as it is not self-contained within your console or PC. And that's the deal. Like, for example, Borderlands 1, 2, and 3. If you don't have a network, but you have your physical copy, you're fine. You're not going to get your patch. You can't apply a shift code. You can't do multiplayer, duh, obviously. But you can plug that game in if your cable goes out and still shoot somebody in the face and collect their guns as loot and still get a legendary and still kill a boss. StarCraft 2, you can't do that. Diablo 3, you can't do that. This is where games are going, and many years ago, about a decade, well, half a decade ago, when it started to go this way, I really fought against it, but it comes over you like a wave that is at least 3 feet taller than you. You can't get away from it. This is what games are doing now. I mean, most mobile apps like Candy Crush, you can't get connected to Candy Crush unless you have connectivity. It's not like you can play a local game of Candy Crush. Everything is going this way, and every company with any hosted online game has the right to pull the plug, and then that's it. Some games can do that, and they can survive. I've relayed this in the debate video. UT99 2K4, okay? If they say Epic says we're no longer supporting these titles ever again, you can still get the server code, put up a server. You can use your own computer and host the server, and UT99, 2K3, 2K4, it'll never die. Because as long as there is a server out there, it'll be done. Now, if you take when a company hosts the only server for a game, like your Halos, Halo PC, Battlefield, and everything like that, if they shut the server down, then, like, you're screwed and you can never play the game. Even if it wasn't free to play and you purchased it, yeah, it could absolutely happen. It could happen to Marvel Heroes. It could happen to World of Warcraft. It has happened to games like SWTOR and WildStar, where they were forced to go to free to play because they were hemorrhaging. I mean, WildStar was so built up when it was coming. It was, hey, we were the people who did vanilla World of Warcraft. If you want it hardcore the way it used to be in TBC and vanilla, and you want challenge, and you don't want these baby noobs that came around after Wrath and later, come over to WildStar. And people are like, yes, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be fresh, it's futuristic, and it's going to be action, not behind-the-scenes dice rolling. And then people realized, oh my god, it is going to take me, and I'm not kidding when I say this, 11 months to get fully capped out on everything. 11 months to achieve the maximum for your character, whereas in World of Warcraft, you could go into a complete raid and literally be lucky enough to do it in one day. I mean, that's tremendous luck, but you could do it in a day if you wanted to. 11 months, and then Swoder had issues, and if it wasn't for the free-to-play model, Swoder would have died, Wildstar would have died, Rift, maybe, Lotro could be dead, Dungeons & Dragons Online definitely would have been dead. They were the trendsetters. They were the first paid game like that to go, we're going to try free-to-play, and then everything just came back to them. So this poor guy is in for a world of hurt with this apocalypse thinking. I mean, he's going to be the Unabomber, stuck in a shack with just power and like a Super Nintendo and Final Fantasy VI. So, the guy below him, not only won't I ever get this involved in a Facebook game again, but I will never play anything Disney has anything to do. Friend of the channel JW is in this mode. Not the Facebook thing, but the Disney thing. So I know some people who believe the Disney thing, and if it's right. I mean, you see what they did to Infinity. You see what they did to Marvel Avengers Alliance. It is probably risky to dip more than a toe in anything Disney related going forward. And whether or not that Star Wars mobile game could be potentially at risk from here on out, who knows? But again, a little heavy-handed, but there is probably some really good truth to what this guy's saying, is that putting stock in Disney-related things and time and emotions and pay could be a bad thing. I agree with you in that Disney could have expressed more sympathy and tried to explain more about their decision. After all, it was a long-standing game that had many dedicated followers, so it would have been courteous. I think to spend a little more time... Oh god, this guy's new. Well, maybe not. To explain their decision more. However, somebody hit the nail on the head. There are more players out there, whether they sign a petition or not, but Disney doesn't consider 32k followers or even 10 times that amount if there's the possibility of getting 500k or even 1 million followers, and more importantly, people who will pay to play. Why have a drop in the ocean when you can have a tidal wave? It is sad to see this game end as a long-time player. Although it was frustrating not to finish the whole game, it was a game that gave me a lot of enjoyment, and I will miss those times. As for any future games, I won't say that I won't play them, but I'm very cautious about investing so much time in a game that may not have a future. I have played many games on Facebook, all of them except one. I stopped playing. MAA was great, and it will be very difficult, almost impossible, to create any game that comes close to the playability of it. I like this person. This person's just kind of even-keeled on it, and they're upset, but they're presenting things logically and intelligently. Yes, I fully agree that it will be very, very tough to do any game that brings the action and the synergy and the mental chess matches of MAA. It was such a unique game for that. I mean, you can't find an RPG or a tactics game that even does that. Like, show me a game where somebody can put out a debuff and then somebody else can maybe exploit it, or the same person can exploit it. Show me, like, sets unit on fire, exploits fire damage, consuming fire. Like, it's so rare to see that depth of synergy, the opportunist debuffs and opportunity exploitation, and pressure points, and paragon, and dots, and attrition exploitation, and set up people, punch out people, support people, tank people. I mean, it's crazy how well thought out MAA was at its core. So yes, there may have only been 32k signees, but since we don't know the DAO number, which I don't know what that is, we can only speculate how big the player base was. It could have been 5 million. Or it could have been only 50,000. There were no goals or plans. Work with the community. Maybe vote for a monthly fee instead of a free-to-play model. I would have done $5 for the game every month. Maybe $10. Maybe not $10 on top of getting $50 gold sale things, but I wonder if we ever cause that much trouble server capacity wise, since the PvP tournaments always end in lag. Disconnect fast in the last hour. That's something that if they changed their PvP, they could have fixed. That wasn't on us, that was on them. Fuck you, Disney. Yeah, Playdom could have changed that and made it so that it didn't have to be this way. Like the PvP of MAA2 would have alleviated that. I share your opinion. Respect was 0 and unjustified shutdown of the most played game on Facebook. I don't know if it's the most played game on Facebook, but it is a shame. Cheaters did not help. I remember reading this guy's stuff. Cheaters did not help, and people who bragged they never put a dime into the game. Okay. I was with you with cheaters. I'm now pissed at you with this part. When you create a free-to-play model, you have to take into account the average guy, known as the sometimes buyer, the whales who always buy, like the I'm going to stock my armory with 64 gold items top to bottom, those fuckers. You have to take into account those, and you have to take into account the people who never spend a dime. For Marvel Avengers Alliance 2, I was very close to never spending a dime because it was actually a reasonable model. Future Fight is now pushing you a little bit towards the you gotta spend for the tier 2s and stuff. Contest of Champions is fucking miserable for spending. What you get for spending in that game is so little. MAA, to slam on the people who use the free-to-play model at its best and game the system and can do that, no, you can't slam those people. Because you know they're going to exist. Otherwise, why make it free to play? You have to take that into account. And I mean, this happens on such a grander scale than Marvel Avengers Alliance 1 and 2 and MFF and COC. I mean, Rift. World of Warcraft, to a certain degree, has a free-to-play model now with the monthly tokens. Swoder had to do it. Loader had to do it. Wildstar had to do it. Dungeons & Dragons Online had to do it. Neverwinter started that way. Tons of Asian MMOs are always that way from top to bottom. Path of Exile. I mean, there's so much that you have to know in your business model. There's going to be whales, there's going to be your average Joes, and then there's going to be the never spends. And to slam people who don't spend a dime is unfair. Maybe they're just jealous. Maybe they're like, you got by as a free-to-play player and I had to pay. Screw you. I don't know, but Flash games seem to give problems. Disney is a control-freak company. If it was really not fitting well with them to have all these technical mishaps and failures, probably did not sell enough stuff for the fees involved. Here is where this really goes off the rail. It also can be a problem with some community complaints. The character of Faiza Hussein is a good example of when Disney goes really far into provocation, insulting part of the Christian community and the Muslim community. Jesus Christ, buddy. Like, and just think about all the demons and Satanism involved. Oh my fucking God. I know some people who are incredibly Christian and play this game, and I've never heard anybody express this level of offendedness at, what is it? Because it's not fucking Disney, it's Marvel, you moron. Like, seriously, these are Marvel characters, not Disney characters. If Faiza Hussein was going to piss people off, she would have pissed them off when she was penned, when she was written, when she was created. To blame Disney now, it's like saying maybe people were just pissed off that Tony Stark was an alcoholic, and Disney, because he was in the game. Like, what? Iron Man has always had that. Pym, like, was known as fucking beating up Janet. at one point in time. Where's the protest of, oh, you guys had Hank Pym in the game? He's a fucking wife beater. It didn't happen because we know it has nothing to do with the game or Disney. That was the way the character was written, not... It's not like there was a wife-beating scene in the game, or Tony Stark shows up to a meeting with Coulson after, chapter's over. He's like, hey, the Hulk, and he clapped, and then Thor with the lightning, man. I'm just so fucking sick of his lightning, and my suit, my suit did so. And, oh, hey, has anybody checked out Natasha's tits lately? Do they keep getting better, or they just... It's probably the beer goggle. I'm gonna go home. We saved the world. I'm like, no, it didn't happen. So, like, oh, this part kills me. Kills me to have read that. Like, I want to bleach my eyes at this point, but... How is Faiza Hussein an insult to Christians and Muslims, since when a Muslim can become a crusader under a Templar costume? God, is this real or is this just fantasy? Like, God, I just want to choke people like that. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. The creator of the character stated he did not want her being seen as solely Muslim or a symbol of British Muslims. Okay. Yeah, because the Crusades was something to be really, really proud of. So if they're upset, someone dares mess with it. British Muslims, why them? Alright, so way off topic. And here we have... Marvel. Alright, can't deal with that one. But apparently he works at Umbrella Corporation. I thought maybe somebody could talk to them about selling it as a CD-ROM like The Sims for the PC. I read this and I get like the mental image of the AOL diskette showing up in my mail. But yes, this guy has a point. Could somebody have stepped in and bought out their code and their licensing and package it up as a hard and fast PC game, or like a Steam deliverable? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think they would have put it on hard media, but a delivery service platform like Steam or Origin or something like that, or Arc for the Perfect World Entertainment games, yes, this could have been good. Not frigging surprised. Amazing how a company with that kind of characters is so tyrannical. Yes. I still go there. FB chat is still up. Not many there. Missed the convo, so that one's kind of new. I didn't know the chat was still up. Well, in summing it up, these comments were fairly calm for the most part. We are all devastated as a community that we have lost this game. 4 years is a long time for a game like this. It really is. I don't know of how many other Facebook games have lasted that long. I don't know if Farmville is still around, or Cafe World, which is some of the ones I used to play. Obviously not, I don't count things like Candy Crush and stuff because they're multi-platform, but I have definitely seen several Facebook games come and go in the time period that I was still playing MAA, and I wish it was still around, obviously. I enjoyed doing content for it. I enjoyed so much the mental aspect of the game, and that, like, 2 o'clock in the morning idea, like, you're about ready to sleep, and you're dreaming, you're like, Ghost Rider and Satana! And you're like, I could do a team with that, I could do, like... I will never find a game like that, ever. Maybe this Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast one will get there. Maybe this Mutant Genetic Gladiators that I've read about. I haven't even tried that one yet. But not even MFF is like that. Like, I'm enjoying MFF, Future Fight. I'm accelerating in it. I've got a T2 Sharon. Ultron's gonna T2 any day now. Carnage is up there for me. Ant-Man's up there for me. Silk is up there for me. I think I had my highest ever Alliance battle today. Still can't do Shadowlands for shit, but nothing will top Marvel Avengers Alliance ever unless somebody directly clones it. If you drop an aspect or two out of that game, it'll be crap. Like, you have to clone it almost piece by piece for the game to really, really be good. the way MAA did, and like MAA 2 didn't come close. I mean, it was good. I liked it. I would have liked it a lot if MA1 had never existed. I consider it a separate entity in my brain. I don't think of it as Halloween and Halloween 2 and Friday the 13th and 13th 2 and New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I think of it as Game 1 and same universe Game 2. You know, like Diablo 3, Diablo 2. They're not really related. It's the Diablo universe, but there's the umbilical cord between the two is thin, and that's how I thought of it between MA 1 and 2. So, thanks guys, let me know what you think. I'll put a link up to these comments in the description because it may continue to get additional thoughts and everything, but, you know, let me know what you think. See you, everybody.